Ooh, righty, guys. Yes, come on down, baby. And there we go. These are the easiest. I wouldn't say the easiest. Look at that. Now, I wouldn't say the easiest, but these are fairly easy to get in and out. Just, I hate this jack. You see, it just stopped. Well, anyway, I'm replacing this transmission, guys. Never. 160,000 miles. They never, ever. Oh, they never serviced it. Probably could have extended its life had they did recommend it. And I'm saying recommend it because this is a, what is this? This is a Charger. So it's not recommended from a Dodge standpoint. Dodge don't recommend servicing it. But from a corporation standpoint, this is a ZF 8HP transmission. ZF, the corporation that built the transmission, they recommend servicing it between 50 and 60,000 miles. I'm an 80,000 mile guy myself. I'm my personal customer because I've done them at different intervals and I can see what gets accumulated in the pan as far as the magnet and how much debris. So I'm an 80,000 mile guy, between 70 and 80,000 mile guy. But the fluid is expensive, guys. And yeah, I'm not, they make compatible fluid. Valvoline make compatible fluid for this transmission. In fact, we used to do that here at the shop. Our drain and refill service include Valvoline. And yes, it's compatible. Yes, ZF confirmed to Valvoline that it's compatible. And boy, you should have heard them trying to convince us that it's compatible. Because if you convince shops that the fluid is compatible, you may sell more fluid. But I'm an OE guy and I like using OEM equipped fluid. Guys, get this. This is transmission is expensive, right? So expensive to the point where they didn't buy a new one. They bought a old one. Okay, and in other words, I got that. Y'all know what that is, right? For the brake booster, manufactured vacuum assist. Okay, remember when you're dealing with variable valve timing engines, your engine doesn't create, as much vacuum as a typical engine did. So they had to come up with another way to keep vacuum on the booster. So you will have brake assist. We'll talk about that later. Well, anyway, yeah, they couldn't afford a new one because he was about to trash the car, and I guess they figured out a way to get this. Let me show y'all, because y'all know what I told y'all about used transmission as it relates to this 8HP transmission, right? Guys, these are not all compatible. In fact, for so much, remember the last one I did on a Wrangler, they just sent me some random ass 8HP. They're not the same, guys. If that car I don't remember, I think it was a rotary shift, but this transmission, it's the electronics. First of all, it's a fully electronically controlled transmission, meaning a computer controls everything, this operation. And guess what? The computer is inside the valve body. All right, so the computer is internal. So listen, if this car is equipped with a rotary shifter, which a lot of them are, there are some floor shifter, but it's equipped with a rotary shifter, and the vehicle that they got this out of is one of these, standard shifter on the column, it's not going to work. You know why? Because the TCM is never going to see park, which means the car is never going to crank. That's a safety feature. The car is not designed to crank unless it's in park or neutral. Okay, so if it doesn't see park, you're never going to crank. I put that transmission in that Jeep Cherokee. It was a pain in the ass to get in, 4-wheel drive. And boy, I went to fire it up. It wouldn't start. That's when I found out it was not compatible with the vehicle. So the best way to make sure you're compatible, a lot of these junkyard, salvage yard places, they will give you the VIN that they took it out of. So hear me out for a second. Take the VIN that they give you, that this came out of. Take that VIN, go to a Dodge, Chrysler, Stellantis parts department. Have them cross-reference the two VINs, the one you're working on and the VIN you got from this vehicle. If those two transmissions are the same and match, you're good to go. If not, you're just putting this in for nothing. Okay. Now the Jeep Cherokee that I did, I was so distraught. I was so scared I would have to take that out again. It was a pain in the ass to get in and out. I dreaded taking that sucker back out. So all I did was swap the valve bodies. The new one that they sent me, I swapped the valve body and put it in that Jeep Cherokee. And guess what? But guess what? The company wanted the reman transmission, and they marked the transmission that they brought me. And guess what? The one they came back to get still had the mark on it. So they basically almost declined, or they like, no, this is the same transmission you sent us. You trying to pull some scam? I wasn't trying to scam. You know, y'all screwed up in the first place. Or maybe our people didn't. I don't know what happened. All I know is I did not want to take that. I got in trouble behind that because I was supposed to simply swap the transmission. But there's nothing wrong with the transmission. If there was nothing wrong with the transmission, it's the electronics that makes the difference, that matters. Okay, the electronics. I mean, y'all see how they send these things. I don't know the condition of this. I don't know. I'm guessing they put the mileage on it, but you know, make sure this torque converter is all the way in. Last time, you know, be careful and look, measure the depth in which the torque converter is always in to the one you're taking out. But yeah, will it work? I have no idea, guys. This is what they paid for. This is what I was told to put in. My labor stays the same, so maybe they saved $3,000 or $4,000 by getting a used transmission. But what's the warranty? How long will it last? What's the previous owner of this transmission in that car? Was they servicing it? I don't know. That's not my problem. All right. My problem and my goal is to get this sucker out. I got it out. So now I just got to swap it out and put it in. Fairly easy as hell. All right. And yes, the starter have to come out in order to get to the torque converter bolt. See those two holes right there? Only way you're going to get through these is through the other side. But the starter has to be removed. So, yes. All right. I've talked enough. All you had to do was service it, people. I've talked enough. Let me get to work, guys. Hey, y'all see that? Oh, look. Notice what's hanging right here. Rack and pinion. Know why? It's not a lot of pressure on this hose, so don't panic. I know some of y'all sensitive. You have to get this out the way in order to get the starter. So some things gonna have to come out that you're not accustomed to. Just deal with it. Suck it up. Take it out. Now, your first one may be a little hard, but yeah, they a piece of cake now, guys. All right, so I got more work to do. I just wanted to explain to y'all the risk in using used transmission as it relates to the ZF 8HP transmission. Okay. In other words, that's all I have. I gotta go, guys. Appreciate y'all. There's one more thing I wanted to speak on, but fluid. I wasn't given any fluid. I'm gonna go through the procedure, the field check procedure. You know how you get the transmission to a certain temperature on the new transmission. I ain't gonna call it new, but I'm gonna let it run. I don't know if any fluid in it. Remember, there's no dipstick. This is dipstick-less. Guys, the only entry port to this transmission is either through here, the field port, or the transmission coolers. Remember, all transmissions gonna have a cooler nowadays. Those are the only, you can't accidentally put brake fluid in here. Remember in the past, people are accidentally pouring brake fluid in the transmission dipstick. There's no dipstick, so you can't accidentally screw this up. Oops, I put coolant in there. How? This is the only input, cooler and the field plug. You can't. You intentionally tried to put wrong fluid in it if you get wrong fluid in it. How's that? It's a setup. It's the only entry port. All right, I'm talking too much. I got to go, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in.